Every major motorcycle manufacturer is lying to you. That adventure bike sitting in the dealership with the beak fairing and the rally graphics, it can't actually go off-road. Not won't, can't. The engineering physically prevents it. And by the time you figure that out, you've already spent $10,000 to $15,000 on a motorcycle that's cosplaying as something it's not. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is how they got away with it. Let's start with the measurement that exposes everything: ground clearance. Ground clearance is the distance between the lowest point of your motorcycle and the dirt. Anything below that number, you clear. Anything above it, you're dragging metal. Simple. A true dual sport motorcycle, something actually designed for trails, sits around 10 to 12 inches off the ground. A Suzuki DR650 gives you 10.9 inches. A Honda CRF 300L gives you 10.2. A KTM 690 Enduro, 10.6. These bikes can roll over a fallen branch, clear a rutted fire road, and survive a rocky riverbed without leaving parts behind. Now, let's look at what the industry calls adventure bikes. The Kawasaki Versys 650, marketed with dirt roads in every press photo, sits at 6.7 inches. The Honda NX500, which literally has the word adventure in its marketing copy, gives you 5.9. The Suzuki V-Strom 650 manages 6.5. Yamaha's Tracer 7, 5.4 inches. That's lower than some cruisers. To put that in perspective, 5.9 inches of ground clearance means a standard construction brick standing upright would contact your engine. One brick. That's the obstacle threshold for a motorcycle being sold with a skid plate and an off-road heritage badge. But ground clearance is just where the lie starts. The engineering goes deeper. Suspension travel is what keeps your wheels on the ground when terrain gets rough. It's the total distance your fork and shock can compress before bottoming out, meaning metal hits metal and your spine absorbs whatever the suspension couldn't. Off-road, you need every millimeter. The Honda CRF 300L offers 260 millimeters of front travel and 250 millimeters at the rear. The KTM 690 Enduro gives you 250 front and rear. These numbers let you drop off a ledge, smash through a washout, and keep riding. Now, here's what adventure looks like. The Versys 650, 150 millimeters front, 145 millimeters rear. That's 40% less than a real dual sport. The NX500, 150 millimeters front and rear. The V-Strom 650, 160 millimeters front, 150 millimeters rear. The Yamaha Tracer 7 doesn't even pretend. 130 millimeters front, 142 millimeters rear. That's sport touring suspension with adventure graphics painted on top. What does this mean in the real world? It means the first time you hit an unexpected pothole on a gravel road at speed, you're not absorbing it, you're bottoming out. That shock sends force straight through the frame, through the seat, and into your lower back. Do that repeatedly, and you're either turning around or you're doing damage to the bike and to yourself. And this next part is the one that really exposes the engineering priorities. Wheels. Specifically, wheel size. This isn't cosmetic. The physics are simple. A larger diameter wheel rolls over obstacles more easily because the obstacle represents a smaller percentage of the wheel's radius. Think of it like this. Try to roll a shopping cart over a broom handle. Now try it with a bicycle. The bicycle doesn't even notice it. Real off-road motorcycles run a 21-inch front wheel. The CRF 300L, 21 inches. The KTM 690 Enduro, 21 inches. This is non-negotiable if you're serious about dirt. The Versys 650 runs a 17-inch front. So does the V-Strom 650. So does the NX 500. The Tracer 7, 17 inches. These are sport bike wheels. They're designed for pavement grip, not obstacle clearance. A 17-inch wheel hits a rock that a 21-inch wheel would roll over. Period. No amount of rider skill changes the geometry.
Now, some bikes split the difference. The Yamaha Tenere 700 runs a 21-inch front and an 18-inch rear with 200 millimeters of travel each and 9.4 inches of ground clearance. The new Kawasaki KLE 500 at least puts a 21-inch front wheel on, even though it only manages 6.8 inches of clearance because of the engine architecture. Kawasaki tilted a Ninja 500 motor forward, and the low-hanging cases ate into the clearance. Even Aprilia's Touareg 660 commits fully, 21-inch front, 18-inch rear, 9.6 inches of clearance, 240 millimeters of travel. So some manufacturers do build real adventure bikes, which makes it worse that others are deliberately selling street bikes in adventure costumes. Here's where it gets interesting. Why do they do this? Because real off-road capability costs sales. A 21-inch front wheel with knobby tires feels vague on pavement. Longer suspension travel raises the seat height, which scares shorter riders away from the dealership. More ground clearance means a higher center of gravity, which makes the bike feel less stable in parking lots during test rides. And test rides sell motorcycles. So manufacturers optimize for the test ride. Low seat, planted feel, smooth ride, confident at low speed. Everything that makes you sign the finance paperwork. Nothing that helps you on a fire road in Colorado. The Versys 650 has a 32.1-inch seat height. Comfortable, confidence-inspiring. Your feet are flat on the ground. The Tenere 700 has a 34.6-inch seat height. Half the showroom can't flat-foot it. Guess which one the dealer moves more units of. This is also why adventure bikes keep getting heavier. The BMW R1250 GS, the bike that literally defined the adventure category, weighs 549 pounds wet. The Honda Africa Twin is 503 pounds. The V-Strom 650 comes in at 470. For reference, a KTM 690 Enduro weighs 330 pounds. A CRF 300L is 291. Try picking up a 549-pound motorcycle after dropping it in sand. Now try it at altitude. Now try it alone. Weight is the single biggest enemy of off-road riding, and the best-selling adventure bikes are some of the heaviest motorcycles you can buy. But here's what the manufacturers understand that most buyers don't. The vast majority of adventure bike owners never leave pavement. Industry data suggests that less than 15% of adventure bike riders regularly ride off-road. Manufacturers know this. They've seen the warranty claims. They've run the focus groups. They know you're buying the idea of adventure, not actual adventure. So they build a street bike that looks like it could handle a trail, price it at a premium for the capability, and let the marketing department do the rest. Beak fairings, bash plates, knobby-looking tires that are actually 90% road compound, rally schemes, luggage racks, the aesthetic of exploration without the engineering to back it up. And this matters because the riders who do take these bikes off-road, and there are plenty of them, find out the hard way. Bent skid plates, cracked fairings from bottoming out, dented rims from 17-inch wheels hitting rocks, blown fork seals from suspension pushed beyond its design limits. These aren't crashes. This is just what happens when you take a street bike onto a moderate gravel road. So if you're actually planning to ride off-road, here's what to look for. Minimum 9 inches of ground clearance, at least 200 millimeters of suspension travel front and rear, 21-inch front wheel, under 400 pounds wet. If a bike doesn't meet at least 3 of those 4, it's a street bike, no matter what the brochure says.
The Tenere 700 meets all 4. The KTM 690 Enduro meets all 4. The Aprilia Touareg 660 meets all 4. The Honda CRF 300L meets all 4 and costs $106,000. The Versys, the V-Strom, the NX 500, the Tracer, these meet 0 out of 4. They're excellent motorcycles, genuinely great sport tourers, some of the best value bikes on the market for commuting and weekend highway rides. But adventure bikes? That's the biggest lie the motorcycle industry ever got away with. And they're still getting away with it. Right now, somebody's at a dealership looking at a V-Strom with panniers and a crash bar kit, imagining themselves on a mountain pass in Patagonia. And the salesperson is nodding along, knowing full well that bike's first enemy will be a gravel parking lot. The adventure isn't the bike. It never was. But if the industry is going to charge you adventure money, they should at least give you adventure engineering.